Hi and welcome to my channel. It's your girl Blake. So I was thinking today I'm just going to give some highlights on episode 2 of Uyoung, which is titled The Wedding Dress That Slipped Down, or The Wedding Dress That Accidentally Slipped Down. Now, in this episode, the bride and groom, they've said their vows, and then the bride is walking down the aisle. She suddenly sees something in the crowd and it startles her and causes the wedding dress to slip all the way down. Like, we're talking bosoms, boobies. Boobies are on display. The groom hops in to cover her as a shield. But also, the most startling thing is, on her back, she's got a huge tattoo of Buddha, which usually isn't a big deal. But it turns out she's told the groom's family. They've also come to the logical assumption that she's a devout Christian, being as she plays the piano for the choir. It was this Christianity connection that led her to her groom, because the uncle was attracted to her because of her devoutness and introduced her to his nephew, and they planned to tie the knot. And it seems as though they both come from affluent families, and as such their parents are more or less arranging these marriages. So Uyoung, while she's investigating this case, she picks up the fact that it looks like the daughter isn't that into the guy anyway, but she's experienced emotional distress. But it turns out it isn't even connected to the wedding itself. But that's quite a huge spoiler. Should I give it? Should I spill it? I might keep that to myself. But anyway, the situation in this episode is that the father, his pride and ego has been crushed by his daughter's bosom, what should we call it? By his daughter's nip slip. As such, he wants to be compensated. He goes to Taesu law firm, which is the rival of the law firm where Uyoung works, and they tell him he can be compensated for the money that he spent on the wedding, and maybe an additional 10 million won for compensation for damages. But this is not to his satisfaction. He wants to get a big payout. So he plays with the rivalry between the firms and visits Hanbada, which is where Uyoung works. And they agree that they'll take on his case. Thankfully, they've got their little ace, Uyoung, who figures out that the uncle had actually made a promise of giving them some land that is worth an estimated 33 billion won, which is a substantive sum. So everything looks in their favour, really. But it turns out the daughter isn't interested in a payout, and with the little bit of guidance from Uyoung, she cancels the case. Even though she stood to win a colossal sum, she cancelled the case and revealed to everyone that she's actually in love with another woman who she's been seeing for about 10 years. And her father had no idea, and this is why she was seeing a shrink, because she wasn't standing in her truth. So she finally had her coming out in court, didn't she? And left with her lady. Kudos to her, kudos to her. And I think the cutest thing in this episode was Uyoung and Juno, who is the paralegal, not attorney. They go together to the wedding organisers, who was the hotel. They organised everything. And during this time, Uyoung ends up trying on a wedding dress, and it looks like our Juno is smitten once he sees Uyoung in the dress. And to be honest, she did look adorable. She looked quite the picture. Oh yeah, the reason why the dress actually slipped is that the hotel, the wedding company, they had an accident with the original dress and it was torn, and then they replaced it with a similar appearing dress, but the replacement dress actually looks the same but is actually sized a bit bigger. So that's what caused the slip anyway. So they were responsible, weren't they? But anyway, this was a nice, cute little episode, and I still feel like this is a very heartwarming drama. Hopefully, I haven't given too much away, and I'm planning to try to do some shorter videos, so bear with me. And if you liked anything, that I've said in this short little video clip. Let me know, how did you find episode 2? What did you think of the whole tattoo? What did you think of the wedding dress? Could you imagine if your wedding dress dropped? Dropped while you're doing your little wedding march? Talk about embarrassing. And I'll see you on the next video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Ciao, 안녕. Is it an audience or congregation? Oh, the statue, not a statue. How the fuck could you have a statue on the backside? Which is a substantial, even though she was. And what else happened? Uyoung looked quite the picture. They got the damages. The daughter revealed